Jesus answers, or is an answer to one of the religious elite of his day, takes us to, well, what is the essential core of Christianity. And it's pure and simple, it's love. Jesus quotes Deuteronomy 6:5 and Leviticus 19, verse 18. We're to love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and neighbour as self. In 2007, a couple of Americans did a survey, which was a kind of an eye-opener to what non-Christians think about Christians. It was asking 16 to 29-year-olds their views about Christians and how they viewed Christians with hostility, resentment and disdain. It's based upon the real experiences, and in addition to the statistical research, the book includes anecdotes from people who were interviewed. Now, according to that survey done in 2007, as I said, in America, I don't think it'd be that much different over here now in 2021. Here are the percentages of people outside of the church who think the following words best describe present-day Christianity. Anti-homosexual, 91%. Judgmental, 87%. Hypocritical, 85%. That would be, I'd bung it up a bit further to about 99%, but still. Old-fashioned, 78%. Too political, 75%. Out of touch with reality, 72%. Insensitive to others, 70%. Boring, 68%. So it would be hard to overestimate, says the author of the survey, how firmly people reject and feel rejected by Christians. Well, think about it this way, he suggests, is that when you introduce yourself as a Christian to a friend, has anybody done that recently? No? Okay. When you introduce yourself as a Christian to a friend, a neighbour, or a business associate who's an outsider, you might as well have tattooed on your arm, anti-gay, gay hater, homophobic. Now, I doubt, with the greatest of respect, that you think of yourself in these terms. But that's what outsiders think about people who call themselves Christians and Christianity. And in light of this, we have a new command I give to you. Love one another, says Jesus in John 13, 31 to 35. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. All people will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. And there's no ambiguity in what Jesus is saying. The Greek for one another literally means love each other without exception. Now, to me, I've said before from the front, this is the key to evangelism. Love one another without exception. Without exception. To love like Jesus is to love inclusively, indiscriminately, and universally. The Gospel reading is reminding us of an ancient commandment that goes back 3,000 years to the founding of the Hebrew community. Love your neighbour as yourself, Leviticus. Way back in the 4th century, a hermit called Xanthias admitted that a dog is better than I am, for he has love and does not judge. Xanthias obviously never met my Great Dane, Casper, but still that's another question or another thing for another day. Saint Maximus, the confessor, longed to experience the command of Jesus. Blessed is the person who can love all people equally, always thinking good of everyone. I've said before, that's the biggest thing that churches need. I've been in so many churches over my time of, well, going to church, I suppose, where that has not been in evidence. always thinking good of everyone. People think evil of everyone, usually the leader of the church or the leaders of the church. The necessary connection between claiming to love God and demonstrating that we love our fellow human beings was so embedded in the early Christian traditions that it goes on, it's repeated verbatim in the New Testament. Paul in Romans 13, Galatians 5, James in James 2, and most memorably by John. If anyone says, I love God, yet hates his brother, he's a liar. For anyone who does not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. And he has given us this command: whoever loves God must love also his brother or sister, etc. The only thing that matters, writes Paul, is faith expressing itself in love. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13 talks about love being the greatest gift. If I don't have love, then I have nothing. Jesus summarised the Bible in his 2 commands, and Paul does it in 5 words. Love your neighbour as yourself. As I said to the Corinthians, the greatest gift is love, Paul writes, without which we're nothing but an irritation and a nuisance. And he goes on and he goes on and he goes on. The point is simple. We are to learn, perhaps relearn, to love ourselves and to love our neighbours as we love ourselves. In other words, we're to do what seems at times to be impossible. And I know we're going to fall flat on our faces, and I know there's going to be opportunities where it's going to be extremely difficult to love someone. We know we're going to mess up. So how can we possibly do it? The one who tried his best with the Pharisees, the Sadducees and the scribes and Israel is the one who comes to pour out his very life in self-sacrifice and love for his followers. His example should be our example. Not long after this conversation, the very people who should have known better were out engineering a death which, as we know, changed the world. And so in his life, in Jesus' death and resurrection, he leads us into the heart of God that will finally fill our hearts. And Paul McCartney is really out of the news recently, but I mean, he had it right with John Lennon. All you need is love. So let me leave you with this blessing. The world is now too dangerous and too beautiful for anything but love. May your eyes be so blessed you see God in everyone. Your ears so you hear the cry of the poor. May your hands be so blessed that everything you touch is a sacrament. Your lips so you speak nothing but the truth with love. May your feet be so blessed you run to those who need you. And may your heart be so open, so set on fire that your love changes everything. And may the blessing of the God who created you, loves you and sustains you, be with you now and always. And may it be so now and forever. Amen. Amen.